Hi, I'm Mike Mills, corporate lawyer with Holland & Knight. So do a lot of mergers and acquisitions, securities work, corporate governance, that type of thing. So I enjoy representing clients who are selling their companies and trying to get the best value for them as we possibly can, mitigating their risk, helping them through the process, guiding them. What we do involves a lot of legal issues, obviously, but also a lot of business issues and a lot of, frankly, psychology. Sometimes you're representing the elephant in the room, sometimes you're representing the mouse in the room. And you got to figure that out real quickly and kind of know where your leverage points are. And I enjoy that part of the job and find that very intellectually stimulating. Every day. Every day, sometimes we're on defense, sometimes we're on offense. Knowing your client, knowing their goals, knowing their pressure points, what they want to concede, what they do not want to concede. But there's been a number of deals that we've done where, we're representing a smaller client in terms of being a high net worth individual, but who's selling to a large corporation. And so they don't have a team of advisors, they've got basically us. And knowing kind of what each side of the table, what cards they have and what they want to play, I think is really enjoyable, and I think we do a good job of doing that. I love to do all of it. I would say the M&A and the mergers and acquisitions part of it is what I enjoy the most. That's the most high stress and the most high pressure, but also the most rewarding. And sometimes at the end of the day, it's a day where there's been 15 phone calls and 200 emails, but you've accomplished something and you know that you've done good work for your client. And that's what I find very enjoyable, and that's what really drives me to do the job that I do. So I'm fairly new, and our law firm is fairly new to BORA. That said, I think the network makes a lot of sense, and that it brings a lot of different people to the table with different skill sets and different backgrounds, but all with a shared goal and shared purpose of, at the end of the day, trying to maximize returns for the client as well as minimizing their risk, and we can all work together in order to accomplish that goal. So I would go back to the first deal that I led, which was about 15 years ago. We represented an entrepreneur who sold his business, ambulance business. It may sound simple at the high level, but he owned trucks, obviously. He also had an air ambulance. So we had to process a lot of healthcare applications and approvals. We had to process the transfer of all the vehicles. We also had to process all the transfers of the aircraft, as well as the FAA licenses, and also just the ordinary negotiation and back and forth with the buyer, which was a very big conglomerate backed by a very large private equity firm with the largest law firm in the country behind them. And doing all that as my first deal kind of in the number one chair was really, it was a lot, but it was really a lot of fun. It was really enjoyable. And the client I still keep in touch with to this day, almost 15 years later, and he's still very appreciative, and we got a very good deal for him. So doing that deal and bringing together, we had probably 20 different lawyers at our firm on it, and I was kind of in the quarterback chair. And so, calling the shots and directing folks, some of whom were 20 or 30 years older than I am, was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I think a lot of times lawyers sometimes have big egos and make themselves the star of the show. Meaning they'll argue about things that at the end of the day don't really matter. And they'll burn a lot of time and a lot of billable fees on issues that at the end of the day don't truly serve the client. We at Holland & Knight make a strong concerted effort to not do that and to avoid doing that. Meaning if a client wants to sell and you advise him or her of the risks that they're taking and they're willing to take them, it's their deal, it's their money. And so we'll concede points and throw away points that, we think we should win, but if the client doesn't want to push for them, and at the end of the day, it doesn't affect the money going into the pocket or their risk, we'll concede them and move on. Even if, from an ego perspective, we're taking a loss, we're serving the bigger goal of serving the client.